It's been about a month since Justin Ishbia told the Pohlad family that he wasn't buying what they were selling. Now that they've gotten over the apparent gut punch of losing what looked like easy profits, they're digging in with what's left of the so-called robust market of potential Twins purchasers. Can Twins players help the sale by winning some games and attracting some fans? We're going to find out in less than 72 hours and as soon as you get Locked On Twins.
You are Locked On Twins, your daily Minnesota Twins podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You're doggone right it is. Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to Locked On Twins, your daily go-to source for the top Minnesota Twins insight, discourse, and analysis. Personally, it's my favorite show of the Imperial Locked On Podcast Network, which, by the way, brings you your team every day. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe where applicable. I'm Dave Brown, an MLB writer since there was one Twins owner who was named Pohlad, not the apparent dozens there are now. I'm also a BBWA member and a Hall of Fame voter. Across the Great Plains of cyberspace is Brandon Warren, who was about -2 when there were no Pohlads, just a Griffith. Brandon was a Twins fan who became a Twins writer, and now he's both as a site expert at Puckett's Pond. Talk about the Twins. Go read Puckett's Pond. And on the podcast today, that's what we're doing here.
Yeah.
The Twins are still for sale, don't you know? Only apparently the sale was on hiatus for a month while the Pohlads caught their breath or something, with opening day in less than 72 hours and another Twins division title in reach. They're talking about selling for no less than $1.7 billion with a B. We know who is on the Twins opening day roster. We can tell you, too, because at least one player you know was optioned to AAA, and at least two players told media members that they were informed they made the team. But before we get into the fun details of the Twins' impending sale, asterisk by impending, you must know that today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets, not rookie bets, when your first $5 bet wins. Oh,
I feel like if it was Mookie bets, it'd be $150.
Right. But don't go near Mookie Betts while he's recovering from the flu or whatever it is.
That's a scary story, man.
Sonny Gray also sick with the flu. They don't train in the same place, so I'm sure it's a coincidence. Nothing's wrong.
Well, didn't they say fine. Mookie may have contracted it overseas? I just wonder if he ate something that didn't agree with him. But
over there, I thought he didn't play.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe this is on Dodgers. I don't know. Maybe it should be if the Pohlads never sell. Anyway, hey, Brandon, the Twins are for sale. And at first I read it and I'm like, well, as Brandon would say, this is a nothing burger, but there are some details in here. They want $1.7 billion for the team, but there are also some additional details. The family is carrying at $425 million in debt. And we know that's not from payroll. Hey-o! It's one of the highest. It's one of the highest debt loads in the league.
I would like to be able to play our sounder that we have in the bank, but I'm not sure it's allowed.
It's got to be fair use. It's so small. It's the thing from Price is Right.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to say Price is Right? Where you lose and you go, wah, wah. That's good enough right there, I think.
Yeah. I'll see if we can use it because it would be kind of fun. Anyway, yeah, 425. Like, I didn't even really know what to make of those numbers. Those numbers are bigger than you or I or anyone could even imagine. And there were some interesting details as far as like Baltimore was it like 350 when they sold, and it's not uncommon to have a debt load.
Mets had a lot.
Yeah, I mean, who cares with Steve Cohen? But yeah, I think it's still kind of hard to wrap my brain around what it all means. And now that the Toshiba brothers are not interested, it's going to be curious to see what kind of person, comes out of the woodwork, if it's a local person, a national person, or some combination of the two. It's going to be fascinating, but I'm not holding my breath on anything. And I thought one interesting part of it, which didn't really compute to me, was Joe Pohlad suggesting, hey, maybe I could stay on as, well, I don't remember what role, like the
board of directors.
Yeah, board of directors, like maybe the forward-facing member of the board of directors.
I've been in baseball all my life.
Yeah, you're also like 36, bro. No, I have no disrespect for Joe Pohlad. I've had good interactions with him, and I don't want to speak poorly of him or really anybody because everybody's business is their business, and they incurred this debt doing something or other that I don't know about as far as
You make it sound
nefarious.
untoward.
No, but I mean, like if it's operating revenues, we've heard all these years that baseball is a crazy money making business. Well, I mean, we've never seen the books, so I don't know. I'm not ruling anything out as far as there. I still don't think they've been a great ownership group, but maybe there's something I'm missing. I always have to leave that bit of chance in my judging of a situation. Does that make sense?
Well, there is something too. I think one of the things you're getting at, and that's the Pohlads. I'm not sure how well the other businesses are going that they're
Right.
dabbling in. And baseball is a business, or team ownership is a business where a lot of the money is made when you sell the team. So it's not all liquid, if you will, as Gordon Gekko might say, when you're owning the team. So there's probably something to that. And there are so many Pohlads. I don't know how many people have to get paid here or what the deal is.
Do they finance the debt with the team as the collateral? Any of that? I mean, that's well above my level of expertise financially. And so you'll have people out there saying, oh, so it's 1.7 billion minus the debt. I don't think it's that simple, or else they would be factoring that in these columns, right?
Well, they did say the story by Dan Hayes and Brittany Garoli, I believe, from the Athletic. They had a live one offer him 1.5, and it was deemed a non-starter. And I don't mean non-starter like Lou Varland.
Yeah, the Lewis Varland of offers, yeah, or the Griffin Jacks of offers even.
He's done that. He's a non-starter too. Hopefully,
Fangraphs called him the modern day Liam Hendricks, which I thought was interesting.
Who?
Griffin Jacks, middling starter who goes absolutely nuclear when they go to the bullpen, and it's a good comparison.
I suppose. Haven't there been other people like that? I don't know.
Well, sure. It's just
Liam Hendricks, the last one or the best one?
No, I think Glenn Perkins did it too, and there've been a few guys. It's just I think the Liam Hendricks comparison was apt because it's a righty who pitched for the Twins and wasn't a very good starter.
I see. All right, fine. Yeah. Comps are the lazy man's way of comparing.
They're like the Olive Garden to Keith Law.
Exactly. Although Keith has been mad at himself for making comps lately.
Yeah.
Like Walker Jenkins being like Larry Walker. See the comparison?
Walker. Larry Walker.
Nobody's really like that. Got it. Yeah. So, that was one of the questions I had, Brandon. Do they want 1.7 billion plus the 400 million in debt? So, are they really asking $2 billion for the Twins? Do you think they're asking $2 billion for the Twins?
It doesn't make any sense to me. That's just not a reasonable number. Again,
the Orioles went for the same 1.7 something.
Yeah,
that the Twins supposedly want for the Twins. So the Pohlads want for the
You'd
Twins.
have a hard time convincing me the Twins are more valuable than the Orioles. Maybe the same, but
it's a bigger TV market.
Right. And I mean, maybe I'm having some sort of East Coast, Midwest, not Napoleon complex, but small man, Midwest isn't worth as much and the East Coast. But I don't see a way where the Twins are worth more than that.
Everybody Camden Yards, but Target Field is in the ballpark, if you will, of great ballparks. There is here are things that we can speculate about. What's gone on in downtown Minneapolis in the last 5 years that maybe has kept some people away from attending.
Sure.
Very similar to things that have gone on in Baltimore in the last 5 years.
Sounds like someone watched The Wire.
Yes.
I'm kidding.
I'm talking about real life here.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, so I think some of it is posturing, long story short. And I think they can get their 1.7.
What does your gut say about if it'll be Uh,
I'm asking.
yeah, it's probably full of licorice, right?
Not right now. It's wife made some Mexican soup for dinner, so
Very nice. My wife. Well, funny. It's funny. My wife was gonna make it, and I ended up making it. So she's telling the kids like, "I made your dad make this." it was pretty good. Does your gut say though that it'll be more of a local led group, or do you just kind of have no idea?
That's more of a Dave question for Brandon than the other way around. But supposedly, according to these Dan Hayes stories, this is what I know. I don't have any sources on this. I don't know.
Nothing.
I don't know nothing, but I don't know a lot either. So there's still people. I mean, Ishbia wasn't local, so that's probably one of the reasons why it didn't happen.
Well, he's got offices in Chicago. I mean, it seemed like
a mansion apparently on the lakefront he's building.
Yeah, it seemed like a grand, like, not like bleep you to Chicago, but the idea that you have business interests in Chicago and you are going to buy a competing franchise. Now, again, the Jerry Reinsdorf factor is in play, but that just to me seemed like a hysterical sequence of events that could have occurred if the Twins had been able to sell.
Jerry Reinsdorf makes things hysterical sometimes. I think he is an X factor in all this. I don't know that we should get mad at Justin Ishbia for pulling out, but that is sort of the carpetbagger move to go in and make like, hey, I want to buy the Twins, and I gotta go.
If you're gonna spend $1.5 billion, I understand reticence, I understand hesitance, I understand all of that. So I guess I can't really get too upset or wrapped up in it. But yeah, I mean, I think we all kind of got our collective hopes up to have them dashed like a September stretch of going 9-18.
Wow, poetic. Speaking of revenue, let's take a break, and then we'll talk more about whatever the Twins are doing.
Well, what the Twins aren't doing, or maybe they are, is when it comes to fueling your body, quality matters. And that's why Just Ingredients is changing the game with clean, high-quality products designed to support better health and peak performance. For me especially, it's fueling workouts. Just Ingredients has an NSF-certified line of protein powder, electrolytes, pre-workout, and creatine, all rigorously tested to ensure that they're free from substances banned by major athletic organizations. Yes, Dave Brown, that means that you can still play in the major leagues if you take Just Ingredients supplements, because Just Ingredients has also partnered, easier for me to say, with two-time MVP Bryce Harper, who trusts their NSF certified sports line to fuel his training and recovery. It's clean and transparent ingredients. I love that Just Ingredients prioritizes wholesome, nourishing ingredients without that artificial junk that a lot of other powders and that sort of thing have. My wife, who is a protein connoisseur, saw the box come in and said, oh boy, that's the good stuff. So I trust her, as her word is her bond. And I think she's right on with this one. And whether you're recovering after workout or need an energy boost, their grass-fed whey protein and pre-workout deliver real results. Yes, you're telling me grass-fed this protein? Well, apparently so. Visit justingredients.us. Make sure it's .us and use code LOCKEDONMLB and you'll get 20% off. And for more wellness tips, follow at just.ingredients on Instagram.
Hello. Well, welcome back to Locked On Twins. He is Brandon Warren. I am Dave Brown. And let's not talk about the Twins ownership anymore, because it's my least favorite story in the world. Mm-hmm. And not just because it's the Twins, but like any oh no. Okay, sorry.
Who wants to talk about billionaires? It's just not fun.
It isn't, especially since we're not one of them or two. But we know some things. Reporters, Betsy was one of them, and Dan Hayes maybe, and Bobby Nightingale possibly. They talked to some players, and they found out some things. And those things are Mickey Gasper has been told that he's going to make the team. And Deshaun Kersey Jr. has been told he's going to make the team too. And I don't think anybody's told Edouard Julien, like, dude, you're on the team. But for a while there, it seemed like maybe he's not going to make the team. And then it seemed like, maybe he is. Well, it looks like he is. We know the Twins roster with some deduction. We know the hitting side for sure. It looks like there might be one, and nobody's saying two pitching possibilities because I think everybody thinks it's a fait accompli that Justin Topa, not Justin Ishbia, is going to make the team. I think he probably is too, but he's needed to kind of cram in some outings here in the last week to make sure that his shoulder's up to par. As far as we know, it is, but said that it is. So here's before we get your take on this, Brandon. The two catchers are going to be Ryan Jeffers and Christian Vasquez. The infielders, there's going to be 6 of them: Carlos Correa, Ty France, Willie Castro, Jose Miranda, Eduard, and Mickey Gasper. Despite, and I still actually, let me back up a little bit. Gasper's been told he's making the team. I think that the Twins are really trying to will this to happen, but I also think that he needs to, when they have a workout at Busch Stadium on Wednesday afternoon, early, I believe 1 to 3 p.m.
Yeah.
Gasper's going to have to run around, and his stitches aren't going to. If they just.
But then why option Austin Martin?
Well, right, but I think they jumped the gun a little bit.
Yeah,
I really do.
Because you can't bring him back now.
Well, if there's an injury.
If there's an injury, you can. Okay. Yes. No, you're right. I don't know why that slipped my mind, but it's interesting.
But they still optioned him. I mean,
yeah, they didn't.
Let me play this out. I've got a fantasy scenario. It's not good fantasy.
No.
What if Mickey Gasper hurts himself trying to play too soon after getting 6 stitches in his ankle? I mean, that's not that far-fetched. And we're talking about the Twins here. I stick up for them because they're not really cursed. I feel like I'm gaslighting the fans half the time because, doggone it, it seems like maybe they are. But you know what I mean? It's like, they sent down Martin. Maybe it's because he didn't play any infield in Grapefruit League play. He just stuck to the outfield. And if Gasper did get hurt, they would bring somebody else. I think they believe in the power of Mickey Gasper right now. And I'm sure he'll be fine. I'm just not 100% sure that he'll be fine in 2 days.
You don't think they're going to you could tell someone they made the team and still put them on the IL, right? I mean, it's not.
Yeah, that is not like a binding contract.
So they're not gonna bring up Mike Ford, are they? I mean,
no, they got
he's looked 7 different ways of Cook this spring. He's not looked good.
He has hit a couple of 400-foot home runs.
Sure,
but those might be his only hits.
Yeah, he's like 3 for 30 or something like that. Yeah, because I think some people are thinking, they told Gasper he's going to make it. Well, the big league IL is still the big league IL. You get your, I don't know, $4,000 a day or whatever it is. I figured it out one time. It's a nice little chunk of change, but that doesn't mean he's going to be on the active roster. And if he rips around at Busch Stadium and finds out that his sutures or staples or whatever they use these days, I haven't had stitches in about 30 years. If those pop or whatever, or just don't feel good, suddenly, I mean, you could bring Austin Martin back, but it does. I mean, I hate the phrase begs the question, but it does a little bit. Like, why wouldn't you just bring Martin to St. Louis and make the call then?
Well, they might. I would not be shocked if I saw Austin Martin hanging around on Wednesday at the workout. I wouldn't be surprised in just the way that you say. But they say they still optioned him, so now they've used that, and they would have to bring him back if there's an injury. But they didn't have to option him yet. But I guess you figure once, assuming, knocking on wood, that everybody is healthy, who's been like Brooks Lee comes back in not too long a time, you're probably going to option him anyway. Maybe that's what they're thinking.
But what do you get? 5 options in a year? Is it? I think it's 5.
Yeah, I think so.
So, I mean, why burn one unnecessarily?
You know what? And maybe this is just one of those things where there's a piece of information that I don't have. It just seems premature to me. I promise that I will ask some people if I run into them
Yep.
If I'm onto anything here.
Well,
but it seems to me mature.
Well, like I thought it makes some sense if they claimed like Jose Iglesias on waivers or something, but he made the Padres, so he's not an option. And there were more interesting like reliever types. There were some interesting position players, but like Brandon Drury got released by the White Sox, but he broke his thumb.
He broke his thumb, and that might be some kind of weird thing they're doing with Drury because the White Sox have had a lot of injuries.
Well, you lately. If you release them and bring them back at a certain point it's like in the NFL, if you release somebody and then bring them back in week 2, their contract isn't vested as a veteran or something like that. So there's probably something at play where he'll come back on a minor league deal 2 days later. Like there's just no reason for the White Sox to punt that opportunity.
And he's not ready for the Twins anyway, so because he's got a broken thumb or hand.
Right.
So let me go over this one more time.
Yep. Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. Jefferson, Vasquez, a catcher. Correa, France, Castro, Miranda, Julian, and Gasper are the infielders, we think. Outfielders, Byron Buxton, Matt Wallner, Trevor Larnach, Harrison Bader, and Kersey, who, like Gasper, makes in some form or another his first opening day roster. They both have time in the majors, but not on opening day in the big leagues. Injured list, we've got Royce Lewis and Brooks Lee. And then when we come back, we'll do a break. And then when we come back, we'll talk about the pitching side, which has more injured people. And at least there's supposed to be 8 relievers, but I'm only counting 6 for sure that we know of at this point.
I have a very interesting, very quick question about the offense, too, when we come back. So we'll hit that, too.
All right.
But not before we talk about FanDuel, because March Madness is here, and we are into the Sweet 16. I brought that up, and my wife gave me a funny look, and then I realized that a girl's 16th birthday is also a Sweet 16, and she was wondering what in the world I was talking about. But FanDuel is giving you the chance to get in on the action like never before, and you can start with the Sweet 16 because right now new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's $200 extra to use on everything from buzzer beaters to your favorite Cinderella story, even who's cutting down the nets. If you want to pick some of the favorites, that's your prerogative. If you want to tail some of the lower seeds, there's lots of options. And with tournament games happening almost every day, there's always something exciting to bet on. And the FanDuel app is extremely simple to use. So when you win, you get paid instantly. There's no waiting around. So visit FanDuel.com and get in on the college hoops action all tournament long. So, Dave, what I wanted to say is sorry, I jumped in there. Kirsty making the team tells me that they may roll with Trevor Larnach as the DH more often than not.
And for now, I can see that because
Miranda's going to play every day at third.
Miranda's going to play third base because Brooks Lee cannot. Although Willie Castro could also play third. Yep. Willie Castro might also play second when Edouard Julien cannot. I'm not sure, and this is not only based on the play where he got injured, but I don't know how much we want Gasper to play second base. You know, he's more of a hitter, and
he was trying to show he could play shortstop too. He's over on the other side of he's like, I'm going to push this ogre out of this way. The 6'6" shortstop. Like, come on, buddy. Who's the real shortstop here? Look at me. Look at you.
I'd have been over here already if they still let you shift it like they used to.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was like just on the other side of second base. And, I don't know. That's one of those things where, like, before I criticized him too much, I'd want to talk to him about it and say, hey, were you supposed to be over there? Rather than just saying, you oaf, get out of the way of the huge Minotaur playing shortstop.
Tommy Watkins said it's okay with him if it's okay with you.
Okay.
Or whatever. I mean.
All right. So, but he is a catcher. And, so he knows how to be a catcher. But I also feel like that gives him some kind of superpower to know when not to do things at other positions too. Like, the wise sage catcher, Mickey Gasper, would know that the second baseman should not run into the shortstop on the other side of the bag, even with an exaggerated defense.
It feels like a telltale sign of a guy trying to make a club.
That's true. Sometimes the simplest, he just got a little caught up. He'd hit a home run earlier in the game.
Yep.
He got a little caught up in the moment. They did have him moved over like really near the bag.
Yeah.
So it wasn't, if that's the thing about that play though. Is it Winokur or Winokur?
I think it's Winokur.
All right. If that guy, if he had been shifted all the way to, I guess it would have been the right, then did he just like make up that ground? Because all I can see is Gasper running into him, but wouldn't he have been way in the hole too? So how did they collide so easily?
I think it goes to show the importance of communication between a second baseman and shortstop, and knowing each other's tendencies and that sort of thing, and like the value of having, it's like Whitaker and Trammell. Those guys probably knew what each other were going to do 3 seconds before they did it. Now, again, that's probably me oversimplifying it a little bit, but teams value up the middle talent and continuity there for a reason.
Yes. All right, so hopefully he'll be fine and his ankle doesn't explode like Roy Hobbs' gut in the natural on Wednesday when they work out, and the Twins know what they're doing, and I'm questioning them for nothing. Let's talk about the pitching. The starters are set and kind of have been for a while. Pablo Lopez, Joe Ryan, Bailey Ober, Simeon Woods Richardson, and Chris Paddock. I believe in that order. I think that is the order. That's the order they've been going in spring training. So that's set. The relievers, they got 6 for sure. Joan Duran, Griffin Jacks, Cole Sands, Danny Coulombe, Jorge Alcala, and Louis Varland. And then there's like 2 more spots. One of those guys is Justin Topa, and he's been really trying to cram in a lot of outings here at the end to make sure his shoulder's up to it. He came up with some shoulder soreness, pain, discomfort March 5th, and then was out for a while. And now this week he's been kind of full tilt going at it. And we think either Anthony Misevich or Scott Blewett as the last guy, with Brock Stewart, Michael Tonkin, and Matt Cantorino, who's on the 60 or would go to the 60.
Yeah.
Is that how you see things? That it's probably Topa and probably Misevich, or
how ardent are they going to be, or how strict are they going to be? You could always use another lefty mantra.
He's pitched great.
Yeah,
he's pitched really well. He's pitched as well as Blewett has in spring.
Yep. And if Topa can't go, I wonder if you could bring both of those guys, because you're going to have Castellanos' 40-man spot in addition to Cantorino's, but you might troll the waiver wire market. I did a piece for Puckett's Pond on I don't know, a few days ago now, where like Ryan Yarbrough is on the list. He ended up with the Yankees.
Tell your joke.
That's what Nick Swisher said when he was traded to the Pirates. Yarbrough.
It was much funnier when I read it.
Yeah. Well, Mark Canna, who got traded, Garrett Hampson, who opted out. But as far as pitchers, I mean, I like Shintaro Fujinami because he throws the crap out of the ball, but he's not very good. Eloy Jimenez opted to go to AAA. But like Andrew Chafin, Jalen Beeks, Buck Farmer, Hector Neris, Lou Trevino, these are all guys who were options. Adam Ottavino. They've got a few guys who were Article XX free agents, or whatever they call it, where you can exercise your opt-out. But beyond that, players are just going to go through waivers because there's going to be a 40-man crunch. Sure, teams will have some 60-day IL spots, but you've already heard about, veterans already being notified they're not going to make the team. That means things are going right now. So if you heard between the time we record this and the time that we post this that the Twins have traded for reliever X, it should not be that surprising. They're definitely thinking about it. So I think Blewett, Misevich is.
Let's go with Misevich. We've established that it's Misevich.
Okay, that's an option. I don't know that anybody else is really an option in camp. I don't think, have they formally sent Inua back yet? Because I don't think I've seen that yet.
Who?
Isn't pitched that much, but
I'm not sure.
They're not really talking about him like he's an option. Anyway, my guess is it'll be Topa and Misevich, but if it's not, no, Misevich, sandwich. If it's not Topa, I think it's going to be Blewett or Anthony M. and a waiver pickup. I don't think it's going to be both Misavich, or
the thing on the replacement side issue with Blewett and Misavich that is something they need to consider. Yes, you know what I'm going to say.
They don't have options.
They're non-roster invitees. First of all, you need to make space on the 40-man roster. They can do that. That's not the issue. The issue is when Brock Stewart comes back. Maybe Michael Tonka doesn't come back. Well, let's say Topa is late, and then Topa comes back in 10 days. When Stewart and Topa come back, then they would have to expose Misavich and Blewett to waivers.
Yeah.
So they could keep them in the minors off the 40-man roster
a little longer
to begin the season in case let's say something bad happens to Cologne.
Yeah, then they have Misavich for more than just 2 or 3 relief appearances before Brock Stewart comes back. It's something to think about. It's something to think about. All I'll say is this before we get out of here. Keep an eye on Jalen Beeks. I feel like he could be an option.
I'm poking my beak around like it's Beeks. Let's we have I lost my there it is. Thank you for making Locked On Twins your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the Locked On Fantasy Baseball podcast with hosts Dominic Martino and Matthew Ane. MLB Fantasy Draft season is here. Be the most informed fan and set yourself up for a league win. And find Locked On MLB and Locked On Twins on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. So, for him, Brandon Warren, I'm Dave Brown. Wishing you all a very pleasant good evening, saying we will, Alexei, see you tomorrow night.